I think that, and Troy brings up a good point too. That the one of the things I will say that I do find concerning right now is the fact that they haven't added another bat. Now, again, the 40-man roster is set, as Chris mentioned to me earlier in the text, that at some point you're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do, because if you look at the offense, again, there's a couple of ways to look at the offense last year. It was the same hitting coach, same instructors as the year before, and they were historically bad. So what happened? Was it the various baseballs that were out there? Why did this team regress so bad on offense that it was historically bad? And there's not a lot of clear cut answers on that right now. But to Troy's point, I do agree. I mean, right now the free agent market is essentially filling up. You saw Carlos Rodon sign earlier. You have Dansby Swanson, who, let's face it, folks, he's not coming to Detroit. Not trying to be a dick about it, but facts are facts. You have, in terms of even hitters out there, you still have Brandon Drury out there, which is interesting. Andrew Benintendi, who's an outfielder I like, but I was telling Chris earlier, I think the Tigers have their outfield set, because I think that you look at what they're going to do with Badu. I could be wrong, but I think with the way they have their outfield set right now, with the set of veterans and young guys, I think they had enough there with Carpenter too. But a guy who I really think that the Tigers, I'm surprised not signed yet, is Profar, who's played all over a little bit. But yeah, I mean, another guy, Brian Anderson's been mentioned too. It was a third baseman, like a 1 year deal. Who's still out there, surprisingly enough, was Gary Sanchez, who, I mean, we saw Omar Navarre get signed by the Mets, but I'm surprised Sanchez. Well, I'm not really surprised because defensively he's a liability, but still, either way, regardless, I think that I would like for the Tigers to, at least, you would think, based off what they have, and trading a guy like Eduardo Rodriguez could bring you something back. But again, it depends on what the Tigers are going to do. The Tigers are not going to compete next year. They've made it clear, or excuse me, they're not going to contend next year because they don't have the pieces for it. But I look at the rest of the names in this market here, and it's like there's nothing. Again, I like the idea of Will Myers, but again, he's also been struggling with some injuries.
I think what we're saying is, in answer to some of the comments, signing Michael Lorenzen and Matthew Boyd to 1 year deals isn't what's precluding them from signing hitters, right? They're not signing these pitchers at the expense of signing someone for the lineup. They just haven't done it. But again, we're not to Christmas yet. So you got to believe they will fill out a couple spots. I was looking at Gene Segura as someone who, a little bit of speed, a little bit of power, not a whole lot of either, but someone who could play second base for them and be okay. It is. I'm interested in Drury. Multi-position guy, almost slugged 30 homers last year. Why hasn't the market moved quicker for him? I'm just wondering if, the slightly lower OBP and the fact that it was a career year and nobody thinks he can do it again. I just wonder if that's what's the mindset out there.
A guy I really was interested to was Adam Frazier. He signed 1 year deal with the Orioles today, which, 1 year, $8 million. I think that would have been a really nice fit for the Tigers, just because you could have platooned him with Jonathan Scope at second base. But yeah, like you guys said, there's still options out there. I'm gonna third that on Drury. I think he'd be perfect. He could play third. He could play second. He could be that right-handed outfield bat that you need. And, there's still some veterans out there like Justin Turner and Longoria. So I do think they will sign a free agent hitter, but I think, for now, I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, with Drury, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's basically, I think teams are skeptical that he can reproduce what he did last year. And from Drury's standpoint, this was his best year. He's probably never going to get another free agent contract. So I'm sure he's pushing for like a 3 to 4 year deal. And I'm sure teams do not want to do that. He may ultimately end up signing with a team like the Mets, who just goes absolutely hog wild. It's like, all right, sure. What's another $30 million over 3 years or something like that? But yeah, I mean, I think just based on the way the offseason has played out so far, I think teams are kind of waiting out that second and third tier of hitters for the most part. The top names have mostly signed. but it's been more of a pitching free for all. It seems like. So maybe they're just waiting for these bats to come down in price a little bit. I think, the general feeling I get, and a lot of other people seem to share this, is that the Tigers are kind of building up their pitching depth to then potentially move some of the younger arms to get more bats along the lines of Justin Henry Malloy, players who fit their profile better than what they currently have in the system, or that are currently available. And we'll see. I don't think they're done making moves this offseason by any means, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure they're going to go out and sign a big free agent bat.